Guys, Minecraft's got an update. I guess there was an update not too long ago. Yeah, there's this new thing I'm really excited for. Cool, they definitely added some fun stuff. Personally, I really like these spears. Wait, what are you doing? Check it out, a copper golem. Wait, what? Wow, this guy looks so smart and not at all stupid. This is amazing. Gabe, those are not new. What? No, they just came out. Like, last week. No, they came out 4 months ago in September. No, that's not true. That's impossible! Yeah, you're kind of late to the party, pal. No! Okay, I've had enough of this. No! Get ready, because in this episode, we're working with copper golems. Oh yeah. And yeah, I can't believe I'm just getting around to these guys now, because they do have some pretty cool functionality that we're going to test out today. And hopefully you like that intro. Hopefully it wasn't too cringy. I've been playing with Flashback Mod a lot, so I've been working on my camera angles and doing some fun skits. Hopefully that was not just awful. But yeah, enough of that. We have work to do, and we are going to be working at the base today. Everything you see in here is getting gutted. This is not going to exist by the end of the video, hopefully. But not only that, we also need to work on this entrance because it's just a hole in the wall, and it needs to be replaced. And I really don't like this entrance. It's pretty much just a hole in the wall. The steps going up to it, not too bad, but I think we could do a lot better. And so this is kind of a rough first draft. So we're pretty much sticking with deep slate at first and trying to get the shape right. Decided to go for a double front door. Not really sure why, but I do like the way the pale oak looks as an accent to the darker deep slate. I would definitely like to incorporate that more with the build, but I haven't really found a way to do it yet. We're also adding some depth with these roofs, except for the center one because I didn't like it, so ended up making it this little tower. And I think this is a good start, although it'll definitely need some more work. And now it is time to massively exploit some copper golems. And yeah, this took me like an hour to build. So this is my idea for copper golem sorting. There would be a hopper line going into this input chest. The copper golems would search that, and then you could access these filter items where, let's say, copper golems had a bunch of yellow concrete. They'd take the concrete out of that chest and put it in their respective sorting chest, and all those items would get sucked out by a hopper below, and those could end up in the sorting system in your chest hall. And after some initial tests, I have a few complaints about these guys for sure. A, why can only one copper golem access a chest at a time? 2, why does it take so long for each one to open the chest, search through it, and then place their item? It takes like 3 seconds when it could be instantaneous. And D, they can only take up to 16 items at once, which is stupid. They should be able to take a full stack, and that makes me very upset. The only answer I have is that Mojang thought these would be too OP otherwise, and intentionally nerfed these golems so that the storage tech community wouldn't fall apart. All of these complaints factor into the golem's big negative, which is that they are extremely slow, which is why I need to have so many golems in this hole in the first place. The next issue comes from the fact that we're not actually going to be putting items directly in this chest. We're going to be putting them in from a hopper, meaning if we have a good assortment of items in like random stack sizes like this, then the golems will always take items out of the first slot, and because of that, items will start piling up in random places that gradually fill up this chest and lowers the efficiency of the golems. We can make this a little better by making the input double hopper speed, which will on average make it so the golems take out more items at once. And while this is a slight improvement to the efficiency of the golems, it by no means solves the problem. The next issue is that the speed copper golems will place items in the chest will change depending on how close the chest is to the copper chest, but in general, the copper golems will be able to place items in the chest faster than they can get filtered out, meaning eventually this chest will fill up and items will start to stack with the filter items, and we can avoid the system breaking by renaming the filter items, but that will mean in extreme cases where you have a lot of items will start to overflow and not get sorted correctly, and you'll have to re-input them into your system. Will that be a problem? I don't really know. I don't think so, because this is a worst case scenario where all the items are going into the first chest. We emptied a full double chest of those items and it only got 2 here. So I would assume under normal use this probably isn't going to be a huge issue, and as long as you rename the items it won't break the system. You'll just have to send them back through. Now, you can also make your output double hopper speed as well, but then you need double the amount of item sorters, and you also need whatever chest hall you have to move at double hopper speed, so I don't think that that's actually worth it. If you're interested in a tutorial on how to build a system like this, which can sort unstackable items, it can sort 16 stackables and 64 stackables in the same chest, and is infinitely expandable and only requires these 2 redstone circuits, then let me know, because even though this system has a few flaws, it is definitely a really easy multi-item sorter that can do a lot of heavy lifting in the early or mid game. And with that said, here is the final sorter I designed. It's pretty much the same thing as I just showed. The only extra is that we have an emergency stop here, which will block all the copper chests. And I decided the input is going to be a shulker box unloader at double hopper speed, and that will just make sure that the bottleneck is how fast these golems can sort and not the input speed of the chests themselves. The next thing is that I don't actually have room to build this sorting system right inside my current base. The way the chests are laid out, it just won't fit, so we're actually going to build it somewhere else and deliver the items over with water streams. So as you see down here, I have the chests going into droppers, which go into powdered snow that make sure the items don't move around at all. They go straight down, and then we have these automatic droppers, which drop all the items into water streams where they can get delivered to the correct chests. And that's going to be a whole lot of fun. Let's go check that out. Here we are in a creative copy of the world, and this is the current sorting system. As you can see, it is an absolute mess, and it takes up so much space in my base. It is crazy. If we go down to the actual storage, I want to keep the storage hall pretty much the same. And with this new sorter, I want to be able to clear out this space so it can be used for future projects. And that brings us to the basement. If we click on this secret right here, it drops us into the lower level. And down in the mine, I've been digging out this giant area. And to be honest, I've been digging this out for quite a long time. This has actually been here for about a year, and I just never had a sorting system that I thought would be a good fit for this base. Until now. So we're going to try and build the copper golem sorting system here. And the tough part, which I haven't really figured out yet, is how to deliver the items up top. We're just going to have a cascade of water streams probably. But that's for future Gabe to figure out. Will this be a huge mistake? It definitely could be. But there's nothing left to do than actually build a system. So let's go. Okay, that was 10 hours of my life that is condensed into 2 minutes, but now we can actually look at the changes, and right away you can see, oh boy, so much empty space. We were able to take out the entire top of the sorting system, and all that is left are these funnels that come directly into the backs of the chests. So much cleaner, at least on the top. Down below, it gets a little messy, let me tell you. But let's run through the storage system. It's a little different. I moved all the items around because we are no longer limited by the amount of items that can go into each slice. So We got a wood section here with all the different wood types. On the sides, we have redstone. Over here, I'm keeping these open because they're really close to the center. So I want to be able to put valuable items that I use a lot. And I don't really know which items I use a lot. So I left a couple slots open. On this side are all crafting materials. And on this side are different blocks. And as we come around the corner, this is more niche stuff. We have books over here, potions, stuff like that. Other cool things over here, we are using the shelves now, and if you right click on those with fireworks and carrots, they'll restock those. And what I think is really cool is the bulk storage over here. These are really cool. Once you take the items out of one of these shulker boxes, it'll get immediately replaced with another one, and the empty shulker will come down here and end up in this chest. If we go back to that, we can input shulkers manually through this chest up here. But of course, we don't have to. We could use the sorting system. And so let's go into free cam and go into a run of the actual sorting system itself. And oh boy, when you see all the wiring, you're gonna be scared. So this is how it works. The shulker boxes for the input are actually in the floor. I've kind of hid them away, and you can put whatever items you want in your shulker box, then hit that note block, and it will immediately get sorted into the system. Alternatively, if you already have shulker box of items, you can place them in this barrel. Now, if we go into free cam, we can go down, ignore all this random redstone that has nothing to do with the sorting system, and right here, you can see our shulker box get launched into the system, where the items will go first into the shulker box sorter. Anything that's not a shulker box goes into that chest, but then it will go over here to the shulker box unloader at double hopper speed. It will start unloading items. And if we look inside the filter chest, you can see I'm using iron nuggets as the filler items. So I've included item filters to filter out iron nuggets with crafters underneath that turns those into ingots, which gets re-put into the system. But now you'll see the chest start to fill up. The copper golems are taking the items away, and while they get to the right chest, let's go talk about the bulk storage, which happens at the beginning here. For bulk items like stone, we have some filters that only have one item each. Those go into the shulker box loaders, and the shulker boxes from each loader themselves are actually what makes it into the system and goes into the bulk storage we've shown earlier. Every time a shulker box is dispensed, we have these crafters over here that are dispensing new white dyed shulker boxes, keeping the system all full. And next, I've renamed every single item so they don't stack, and that was a lot of levels, man. Maybe even over 1,000, I'm not really sure, but pretty much one level for every single item being sorted. But it's time to talk about the elephant in the room and look at all of these water streams, holy cow. And honestly, it was fun. I really like working with water delivery systems. It's really cool how close you can get these water streams to each other while still reliably delivering items to different streams. Definitely a little more complicated than like a day one sorting system though. Alright, the golems have reached the point where they're sorting items. If we go into free cam mode, we can see that items are getting dispensed into the water streams here. Let's follow some of these. For instance, these are quartz, and they're going this way, going up, and then going along. This is kind of the more complex one, but they're going into the hopper there. This is the most complicated one because we had to avoid some things underground. But overall, the system is working very well, and I am now going to get out of here and not think about sorting systems for at least another year. And now it's time to collect all of the items from around the world and put them in the sorting system. This is actually like my third or fourth run through of the world. So most stuff has already been sorted, but as you can see, I'm still finding plenty of materials to put into the system. And yeah, it works wonders. I've never had so many items in one spot before, so this is absolutely fantastic. As I was sorting, I have an output chest where unsorted items go, and then as the items showed up in that unsorting chest, I kind of just found a place to put them. But now I think we have collected almost all the items in the world. I would estimate it's definitely in the tens of thousands of items. And there have been a few times where items didn't get sorted, but I think that's because I unloaded the chunks, and when I came back, the golems didn't know what to do and skipped the filter they were supposed to place items in. As you see, here's a bit of stone that went through that probably shouldn't have. So, but that's not a And I almost forgot, I had to move all the villagers that used to live here in the base while we were building the new sorting system, and, well, let's just say bad things happened. I'm pretty sure a drowned jumped out of the water, ate them all, and infested them. So when I returned, they were of course all zombies, and even worse, all their minecarts stacked up into one giant blob, which made it really difficult to heal them and right-click them with golden apples, and it was a whole process, and they even managed to kill me, which was not a lot of fun. So now we're on the way to my funeral. What a sad, sad time. But it gives me an excuse to play with Flashback Mod again, which is really the only reason this clip is in here. And as you can see, the clip was meant for something completely different because it says I died to fall damage, but we are going to ignore that and just be sad because villagers suck. And for some reason, I decided to dedicate the entire area outside my base to a giant villager village, which is going to be awesome, by the way. You should subscribe so you can see that. But also, it is going to be a pain to make. And also, that's netherite horse armor, which is new and cool. But now, it's time to get back to the villagers. I went away again to work on the sorting system, and when I came back, a large quantity of them had died. These were all used to be villagers, and I'm pretty sure another zombie got in, turned them all into villager zombies again, and then when sun time came, they burned to death. Pretty upset about that. But it's a new day, we have finished the sorting system, and I think it's safe to say I'm all caught up with the Copper Golem update. As for Mounts of Mayhem, well, there's a zombie horse right here. It took a long time for me to get this thing, but it's here. And yeah, there's the zombie horse, spear, other mob retextures. Nautilus, that's the thing. He's pretty cool. Ow. Well, I tried to find all the other new mobs for about 30 seconds until I realized they're all just reskins from other mobs and are not too interesting besides that, at least in my opinion. However, love the spears. They're very cool. Cool at the end of zombie horses. Not really that interested in many of the other new mobs. But yeah, I think I'm caught up on the updates now. I can finally sit back and relax and enjoy my Copper Golem sorting system. And hopefully for the next update, they decide to do something besides just retexturing more mobs. And with that, I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.